Welcome to another episode of AP Taylor Swift, the podcast for Swifties who like to dive a layer deeper into the music. So lean in close, turn up your volume, because class is in session. We're your hosts. I'm Monsi.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Jody.
And we are your unofficial professors of Taylor Swift.
Welcome back to another episode of AP Taylor Swift. This week we have a deep dive episode for you. Don't blame me. This is a continuation of last week's episode on Frankenstein. So if you didn't listen to that one, press pause, go back, give that one a listen, and then come back and hear what we have to say about Don't Blame Me. Before we jump in, Jen, do you want to tell us a little bit about how we do a deep dive?
Yes, so we will think about who's the speaker, who are they speaking to, and what's the purpose. So usually who's the I, who's the you, and then what's happening here. And at the end of the episode, we will go around and decide what we think the purpose is after we have discussed it. So Don't Blame Me is track 4 on Reputation. It was written by Shellback, Max Martin, and Taylor Swift. This is a quick call out before we actually get into the lyrics, because we didn't mention it last week, and I was thinking about it. Last week for our Frankenstein episode, I did Don't Blame Me, and Jody did Look What You Made Me Do, and I just want to give a shout out to the transition from Don't Blame Me to Look What You Made Me Do on the Eras tour is still to this day one of the coolest things I think I've ever seen. It was one of my favorite things. So fun how she combined them, and then I thought it was kind of funny.
Yes, I didn't even think about that until you just
I know,
mentioned it.
so she combined them on the Eras tour, and then we combined them for Frankenstein.
And I feel like I just combine them in my head now. Like, are they not the
Don't
same
blame me
song?
for what you made me do.
Don't
Yeah.
blame me.
Check out our Substack for our full recreation of the Eras tour.
Oh, no.
No?
That's
Okay.
a lie.
Don't blame me. It's going to be hard for me to now hear this song and not think of Frankenstein, but I won't.
I know, we gotta let it go.
Just starting off, I love that this song starts with the chorus.
Yes.
A little different.
Yeah, Don't Blame Me, Love Made Me Crazy.
The gospel style singing too.
Mhm.
Yeah. Don't Blame Me, Love Made Me Crazy. If it doesn't, you ain't doing it right. So we have an I and a you right off the bat. And the don't is, what is it? It's an imperative sentence, so there's no subject, but it's an implied subject of you don't blame me. Love made me crazy. But the you in this is like
Very
Universal.
like communal.
yeah, universal you. I was about to say the royal you, and I was like, no, it's a royal
the
we.
royal we.
What's the you?
Universal you.
Yeah, universal you. You all should not blame
Y'all.
me. Yeah,
Y'all.
y'all don't blame
Y'all
me.
ain't doing it right.
The country version of Don't Blame Me.
Can make it. She's a country artist.
So y'all should not blame me because love made me crazy. And also, like, there's this like didactic moment of like BTW, if love's not making you crazy, you're not doing this right.
Right. Lord save me. My drug is my baby. I'll be using for the rest of my life.
Escalation to the drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
drugs
throw
and
'em in
God,
there.
right? And bringing
Yes.
those two things together is very powerful.
Yes.
And she loves using those metaphors
Yeah.
for romance.
Drug is my baby.
So yeah, I also like that it's Lord Save Me because it's sort of a asking for redemption. So it's Lord Save Me, my drug is my baby, but then there's no actual apology for it. It's actually I will be using for the rest of my life. So it's like just this like colloquial, oh Lord save me, my drug is my baby.
I was just gonna
but
say,
it doesn't mean it.
The Lord save me is it's just a phrase that is being used.
It's not actually looking to be saved.
No, not at all. Very actively not looking. And she's refusing to take blame. She's saying, Lord save me, but also don't blame me.
Right. Don't blame me.
Yeah.
So I think I'm very curious to see how this shifts. I don't know that we have enough to go into this any further at this point. I'd be curious to see how the verses illuminate the chorus.
I mentioned this earlier, but I think it's also worth calling out that the chorus is sung in that like gospel style singing. It's a chorus of multiple people, or I mean, it might all be Taylor, but it sounds like multiple voices singing together. And so there's something there about the kind of chanting or singing that goes in that kind of thing. It's like everyone get together, rah rah, here's the chant that we're doing together. And that chant is don't blame me, love made me crazy, will be using for the rest of my life. It's a
choir.
Well, and it's also I think it's
choir like.
It's also it is kind of that group thing, but if It's also a very spiritual experience. Like a
Yes.
gospel choir is supposed to be this transcendent
Beautiful.
spiritual moment where
Yeah.
you're like really communing with
Exactly.
God. And so she's using that. So she really is pulling in both religion and drugs at the same
I
time
think
here.
what I was trying to say is that it's like a moment of togetherness, and
Mhm.
there's something about like rhythmic chanting. I hesitated to say the word "it's like a prayer" because there's been songs in the past where she repeats, where we're like, oh, this sounds like chanting like a prayer, like something sacred. This is not that. This
No.
is like together. There's a power of multiple voices coming together, and that elevates what is being said to a level of spirituality.
Yeah, it's not a prayer, it's transcendent,
Yeah.
which are both religious elements, but in different ways. And I also think, too, to start with this, to say this is a religion. Also, you can't blame me. It's starting, and interestingly enough, I think it starts in almost kind of a defensive stance. Like
Yeah.
the immediate right off the
Don't
bat.
is the first word of the whole
is,
song.
don't
Yeah.
blame me. This is a religious experience. This is a drug. Like, and there's like sort of a like, and also if you disagree with what I'm saying, you're doing this wrong. Like,
You're
you
wrong.
are so wrong.
That's
here.
true.
It's like coming out with
Real strong.
Yeah.
Like in
Real
some
strong.
ways it makes it cultish is a strong word, but that's it kind
It's
of feels
not.
it's
Yeah.
exclusionary in some ways, right? Like
Mhm.
it's like you got to do it to get it, and if you're
Yes.
not doing it right, then you're not one of us.
You're either in or you're out.
Which sounds like cultish religions or drugs.
Yeah.
Right.
You either get it or you don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to the verse. I've been breaking hearts a long time and toying with them older guys. Just playthings for me to use.
Which I also love with later on we get My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys.
Mm.
When we go back to this album and she is straight up saying
They are
boys
thy
are playthings. Yeah. And
I'm
here it's
toying
very
with them.
empowering. Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
No, I never made that connection that she's toying with the guys, and then in the other one, in TTPD, she is the toy.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is narratively pretty straightforward.
Yes.
Well, reusing the word use. She mentions using for the rest of my life earlier, and now says just playthings for me to use. So I think that is kind of interesting connection to tie the two together of like she's using for the rest of her life. What is she using? What's the drug? And here it feels like the older guys.
It's them older guys.
I actually think that those are two different things. That the chorus is saying, hey, this one person my drug is my baby and I'll be using for the rest of my life. And she's saying, in the past, what I was using was these old toys. So a toy, boring, breakable, replaceable.
Drugs,
but now
great.
I'm addicted to this, my baby.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we get something happened for the first time in The Darkest Little Paradise. Shaken, pacin', I just need you. Two things I notice here. I love the first line, I've been breaking hearts a long time, comma, and. So and is at the end of the sentence. And then this line, something happened for the first time, comma, in, right? Like there's more here. And you're just.
It's like a cliffhanger.
It's a cliffhanger, but there's something to me that relates to the drug and to the religion that like it's pulling you in. It's giving you a taste of what's to come, but you have to keep going in order to get the rest of it and get the fulfillment.
And the fact that it happens both times, I think, leads us, or I would say invites us to compare these line by line. I don't know if you two want to do your thing and do that. I've been breaking and then something happened.
Cool. I'll do the first one. I've been breaking hearts a long time and.
Something happened for the first time in.
Toying with them older guys.
The Darkest Little Paradise.
Just
playthings for me to use.
Shaking, pacing, I just need you.
Yeah, I mean, so I think in the A, if we do ABC, in the A's, it's I've been breaking hearts a long time. So she's been doing something, breaking hearts. It's been a long time. But then something happened for the first time. We have a moment.
From the outside.
Yeah, and something happened to her.
Yeah, something happened from the outside.
Yeah, toying with older guys, again, like whatever this means, nothing. The Darkest Little Paradise is the most compelling, like little line right there. It says so much.
I don't know. I also now think about Paradise Lost because we were just talking.
I know.
About
That's what I was thinking of too.
And then just playthings for me to use, so they're dispendable. Shaken, pacin', I just need you is just a heck of a comparison of how I felt about these older guys versus how I feel about my baby.
the need.
And the shaken pacing, the addiction, like, kind of
Yes.
callback there.
Yes. The darkest little paradise is very, dark and brooding and
very gothic.
I mean, yeah,
Very
the
gothic.
shaking pacing is definitely speaking to just addiction symptoms.
Yeah,
Very
need.
physical
Yes.
need.
The playthings for me to use are her using them and her being totally in control. Versus shaken pacing, I need you. She has lost control. Like, her need has taken over.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to call out, just to build on that. You have in one verse this complete switch of being in control to now lacking control.
Can we talk about Darkest Little Paradise for a second? Because I think I have not really given this line a ton of thought in the past. But Jen, like you mentioned, it's so loaded and we could go on about it. I would love your take on it. But also, like, I'm curious, when I think of paradise, I definitely think of bright sunny days.
Yeah, not dark.
And so, not dark. So what does this mean?
There are two interpretations that are in my head. One is very sensual, of like your bedroom at night is the darkest little paradise when you're with someone you really love. And the other is greatly influenced by what I know about Taylor during the Reputation era, the idea of being out of the spotlight, out of the limelight. So the darkest little paradise of being away from
I love that.
the lights of the cameras. And I like that too. Yes, that's influenced by Taylor, but again, I think even, I've said this so many times, but in our insane social media world, the idea of, being in a moment where you're not taking pictures and just being in that moment in some ways is a dark little paradise where you're not being, recorded or recording. You're just in that moment. It's a like tech off, lights out kind of experience that even if we're not on the international stage like she is, I think we can all relate to those beautiful, sweet moments that are away and that are set aside and that are not for anyone's consumption but ourselves.
I love that.
To go dark on social media is to not use it.
Yes.
To not be active.
Yeah, I will give a little shout out to Lyric Genius. We don't use Lyric Genius very often, but I just looked at it and it said another time where she's used this is in Style. She says, midnight, you come pick me up, no headlights, long drive could end in burning flames or paradise.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's no headlights is also dark, I think.
And it's night, which I still think Darkest Little Paradise can definitely be like
night.
You and your lover at night in your bedroom together.
I think it could be both. Yeah. I think that's the thing that's interesting here is that it could be a play on words and be both. But I really do like the like lights out, no paparazzi, no social media, no coverage.
Yeah. So we've gone from I can't be blamed, I have no control here. I used to have control, now I don't. For you, I would cross the line. I would waste my time. I would lose my mind. They say she's gone too far this time.
Okay, so what would we think, like, okay, it's so easy to take this from Taylor's perspective, but what would crossing the line for, what would that even mean?
It depends what your lines are and what your boundaries are.
That's fair.
I think we talked about this in another episode, but we talked about how when we're talking about drugs specifically, the line can also be moving. Of you cross the line once and then you cross the line again, and like the line moves further and further and further every time. Do you guys remember this conversation or did I make it up?
Sometimes I dream about things that we talked about on the podcast and then it turns out it was.
Well, you're looking at me
was
like,
that real?
Yeah, but no, I see your point of like saying like, oh, I would never do that, and you do it once and you're like, well, I already did it, so what would the next thing be?
Right. And just because the previous line right before this is talking about addiction, to me, it's like she's willing to go to any lengths, I think is what she's saying. But like the first thing that I think of is what is the line when you're in that kind of an addictive state? Is it possible that the line keeps changing?
Yeah. Also, when you said cross the line, my first thought went to picket line at a protest, and I was like,
which is fair.
I don't think that's what she's referring to.
But it could be, right? The idea of crossing a picket line is doing something,
it's going to the other side.
Yeah.
Ignoring what's happening in front of you in order to do what you need and what you want, right? If someone crosses a picket line.
I also
They're defying
think
something.
contextually, since we're talking about these older guys and then talking about this specific person and cross the line, I think there's maybe a hint of potential infidelity of like, I maybe haven't fully ended things with those older guys, but I don't really care right now because I will cross those lines because I need you so bad that I'm crossing that line.
I also just see this from the perspective of in the early days of dating, if there's someone you are attracted to and you're like, oh my God, I really like this person. What wouldn't I do to be with this person?
Yeah.
For you, I would cross the line. I would shift my boundaries.
Go all
I would
the
waste
way.
my time. Oh my God, you waste so much time in dating, especially if you like someone and you're not sure if they like you back, but you're like, no, this person's worth it. Like whatever I need to do, I
Yes.
will give up my life, my things that I should be focused on to try and attract this person. I would lose my mind, which is just kind of what happens when you are in this obsessive falling for someone state. But then they say she's gone too far this time, right? There is a line. I'm willing to cross it for you, but other people are saying I've gone too far this time.
I think there's something to be said about the deliberate vagueness here. There's times where lyrics are very specific and we're like, what is she talking about? And then in this sense, it feels deliberately vague.
Yeah.
It's I would cross the line, whatever that line would be. It doesn't have to be one line. I might cross all the lines.
Yeah.
It could be.
It's like, you tell me, babe, you tell me what the
like
line
you
is.
say
I'm
the
crossing that
word
for you. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Also, I love the they say she's gone too far this time. We've talked about like in Last Great American Dynasty, where there's this plural they of gossipers who just follow the speaker around, just chattering away and saying little things. And here we have an early version of that, I guess. And you have these people, the community, maybe the fans, the community in a non-Taylor world, you could just say the public saying she's gone too far this time.
Yeah, I did want to kind of pause too and point out that at the beginning, and we're about to get into the chorus again, we have "Don't blame me," the implied you, and if you love made me crazy, if it doesn't, you ain't doing it right. So we have this plural you of like, hey y'all, you can't blame me, you're not doing this right. But then we have for you, I would cross the line, and I think those are obviously two different things
really
in my
different.
mind. Yeah. But then we have the they. So there's a they say I'm crazy, but you, I'm telling you, don't blame me.
Yeah, and it's almost like in our audiences here, there's the speaker, there's the public, and then there's the one person that the song is for.
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to use another Taylor reference again, but I feel like the they are the Sarahs and Hannahs in their Sunday best, going to what daddy, exactly. I love them, which is different than the you, which might be like her dad, her family. So there's like the they who I don't really care what they think. They're going to say this. And then there's the plural
the you ain't doing
like,
it right is like your friends.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's what makes sense to me, at least so far. We'll see.
Well, I think that makes sense because now we're going into don't blame me, love made me crazy.
Well,
it's just the same thing.
And because it goes into tying it in, it goes to they say she's gone too far this time. Like there's like that beat.
Yeah.
Don't blame me, love made me crazy. So they say I've gone too far this time, but hey, don't blame me. Don't blame me for going too far. My love made me crazy.
Right. Lack of agency, lack of control.
And she said for you I would lose my mind. And she's like, and
I did.
I've lost my mind.
Spoiler alert. I did.
And then so it's the chorus twice again. Do we feel like the chorus has like changed a lot in meaning at this point now that we've gone through?
I don't think it changes in meaning. I think it changes in impact.
But I also think that the repetition of the chorus here, Taylor is known for having like pretty intense choruses. And it's just 4 simple lines, and they're repeated without any change. Nothing clever being done here, but to me, it goes back to the kind of gospel choir singing that we had earlier. It's just like this chant that everyone's chanting together again and again. Like the fact that it starts out with that, comes in, happens twice in the chorus, then she gets into a second verse, then it happens again. In some ways, to me, it creates this appearance of just being sung throughout the song the whole time. Like you can almost imagine it just being like continuously sung or chanted in the background, and then you have these like little verses, but it creates a sense of continuity for me.
I do think that this song is just generally really gothic. Even if it's not Frankenstein, it is such a gothic feeling song. And part of that gothicness is one of the sources I was reading was use the word melodrama, and I really love that for gothic, where it's like, here's how you would normally feel. Okay, let's make that so high that we're breaking the volume
Turn it
button
up.
here.
Yeah.
Like it is going and repeating, don't blame me. I'm just gonna read it again. Don't blame me. Love made me crazy. If it doesn't, you ain't doing it right. Lord save me. My drug is my baby. I'll be using for the rest of my life. It's already an incredibly intense thing to say, and then to keep repeating it. And the way she does it, when we'll talk about it later, but when she does it in the bridge in the Eras tour, it like you truly feel like your soul leaves your body
Like
in
elevated,
that moment,
yeah.
where you're just like, ah.
And you think about like being in a big Gothic cathedral, if you will.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's like you hear the echoing, you know? It's just repetitive. It's again and again the same thing. To me, that creates just this feeling of it's continuous. It started that way. We heard a verse in the middle, but then the same thing comes up. A lot of times when she does choruses, she'll change one word or something to just make it just slightly different so that the meaning has changed. But here, the consistency is notable because it is exactly the same and it's just continuously repeating. And so you feel like the verses really are the things that are different in between. We're punctuated by verses, but the consistent feeling throughout the whole song is love made me crazy, don't blame me.
I think it's more playful than the Frankenstein interpretation from last week. So I think it is a little more playful, but it is sort of that defensive stance of like, it's her saying all these things that she's doing, and then she's saying, hey, don't blame me. This is what it is. But then it's her consistently, I think, this doubling down of, hey, love made me kind of crazy, but you know what, man, it's worth it. It's so good. It's her being like, you like almost like this, like you can't imagine. I'll say it again, that you can't blame me because of how incredible this love is. But seriously, you can't blame me. Like you don't even know.
We get it, Taylor. We won't blame you.
She like really doubles down on that almost playful defense of herself there.
In a very not playful song.
I know.
I'm sorry, do you not want to be blamed?
I'm sorry.
Is that what we're getting at?
Can you not blame me, please? Thank you.
It's like the worst defense in court of like, no, you can't blame me. Like you just like don't even, you've never been
get a lawyer. Get a better lawyer.
I know I've been on drugs, but don't blame me.
Don't blame
me.
The
drugs were good.
Loved it. My name is whatever you decide.
I think the song is so unhinged the more we're getting into it.
And I'm just going to call you mine. I'm insane, but I'm your baby. What? Taylor, no, your name is yours. That is precious. Do not. But again, like the fact that she says, I'm insane. It's like, yeah, we know. You just said my name is whatever you decide.
Okay, so maybe because we're coming off the backs of Hurricane, but I'm drawn to the attention of my name.
Hurricane with my name when it came.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, Taylor Singer, her name is a big deal. She is
kind of a big deal.
She's got lawsuits left and right on her name, or use of likeness. But outside of her as a singer, like let's separate the artist from the work. I think the fact that, I mean, you could say, what's in a name? A name is nothing, but we've heard in various songs the importance of my name. And here, to just throw out, my name is whatever you decide. And the fact that she's saying, you don't have a name either. I'm just going to call you mine.
Yeah, I do think it's very intense. Like I'm not going to negate that at all, but I also always interpreted it as my name is whatever you decide, is like pick whatever pet names you want for me. Call me baby, call me babe, call me your lover. That like the name isn't necessarily like I think there is an identity loss, but there's also a taking on a new identity of, yeah, like you're my lover. We get later.
I think that's interesting that you say that, but when she's saying whatever you decide, when people call someone names can also be a negative thing. Like you listed a bunch of positive names, but I think it's like whatever you decide means you can call me a lot of bad things too. And frankly, I don't care.
To me, it's you get to decide my identity.
Yeah, but whether that's good or bad. It's
right,
like you could curse me out or you could call me sweet
putting
things.
Your identity in somebody else's hands?
Yeah.
Do you really need to be in a relationship that badly? This drug is not safe, Taylor. Not safe.
Hey, don't blame her. The love made her crazy.
Well, she says she's insane.
The next line is, I'm insane,
Yeah.
but I'm
but
your
I'm
baby.
your baby, so it's okay.
I mean, I think that the chorus, the more we get into this, the chorus is like, she's saying these really unhinged things. And then it truly is like, don't blame me.
Right.
Like, Jody, you can't blame me for being willing to lose my identity. Like, love made me crazy.
Okay, but your name comes up again. So she says,
Yes,
my
right.
name is whatever you decide,
Mhm.
but I'm just going to call you mine. And then she says, echoes of your name inside my mind.
So here's my question, though. Do we think it's the person's actual name or just the word mine? Which now I'm just thinking of this.
Mine.
Yeah.
Mine.
Yeah.
The number of times that comes up.
But to me, I read that as we broke
No,
Monty.
I think of it as like whatever the person's name is.
So I read it as echoes of your name in my mind of like, I'm constantly thinking of like, he's mine. Oh my gosh, he's mine.
Yeah.
I think of it, it could be both. For me, it's when you're dating someone or when you like someone. I don't know, you guys are both married, so maybe you feel differently. But for me, when you're like have a crush on someone or you're dating someone, then like they're all of a sudden you see their name everywhere.
There's something about the fact that she says she's going to call that person mine, but then there's like what's inside her head. It's like outwardly, I'm just calling you mine. There's no other explanation, but internally, like I'm just chanting your name, whatever that might be.
And I don't think that all of these are mutually exclusive because they are all, I'm obsessed with you.
Yeah,
Right.
Halo, hiding my obsession. I'm sorry, nothing is hiding your obsession.
But also like really random use of the word halo.
So I never really got that. That was a line I wanted to discuss. But earlier when we were talking about Darkest Little Paradise, that to me is what I think makes sense here of, oh, this, what we're doing is in this dark paradise. And when I'm in the lights on scenario, I've got my halo on. I'm the good girl. I'm appropriate. I'm, put together. And that's hiding how obsessed I am with you when we're in our darkest little paradise together. And using paradise and halo.
I also saw echoes, like echoes are something that kind of circles around you. And so like the echoes of your name inside my mind become the halo of thoughts hiding my obsession. I don't know. It's a bit more of a stretch, but I think.
Yeah, I think Reputation, the album as a whole, definitely has like the two sides of a woman, a modern woman. Like it is Taylor, but it's also like the two sides of a modern woman of like, how do you show up professionally? And then like also you have desires and passion and things you want with your own life. So that's what I was thinking, but I kind of like the echoes thing too.
I definitely love the interpretation of my good girl act is hiding
the fact that I am willing to, my name is whatever you want it to be, and I'm insane and I'm obsessed with you, but on the outside I'm
angelic.
Yes, angelic.
And that I once was poison ivy, but now I'm your daisy. I once was poison and dangerous.
To those older guys she was
to the older guys. But now
I also I was thinking of Poison Ivy, like the super villain.
Yeah, the villain. I had that thought too.
And now I'm your Daisy. I mean, I think of Great Gatsby Daisy.
And Ivy, the song Ivy. Now we have.
And daisies do symbolize purity, new beginnings, and cheerfulness. So it is sort of this
aligns to the halo.
Yeah, and this like sort of rebirth in this relationship. This is so fascinating to me though, because it's like to the outside world, I'm either hiding and I'm in this little dark paradise obsessed with you, or I'm this angelic good girl when I'm in front of people. But to this person or to the people I was with, I used to be inverse that. I used to be poison ivy. I used to be so toxic to these guys. But with you, the person I'm obsessed with, I'm your daisy. I am fresh. I am new. Because like
that's why I question the use of the word daisy, because in the Great Gatsby sense, and I will acknowledge the fact that daisy is not capitalized, but daisy takes on kind of different meaning, because daisy in Great Gatsby is like, well, daisy is also his obsession. Daisy is Gatsby's obsession. But
we don't know if the you is obsessed with her. We just know that she's obsessed with.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I think it's interesting, because I just think daisy has like a really complicated meaning if it was a literary reference.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's compared, it's juxtaposed with poison ivy makes me think it's not a Gatsby reference, but it is interesting to consider.
I would agree with that.
To our dear listeners, you can't see this, but I feel like with this verse, all of us went really serious. We're like, wait a second, what is happening in this song? Something more sinister or like something more complicated.
But I think to me, this section is sort of this like, oh, when everyone thought I was being a good girl, I was actually being poison ivy and playing with these older guys. And now that everyone thinks I'm in this dark paradise and hidden, I'm actually being this daisy to this person I actually really, really feel passionately about.
Rebirth, fresh.
That it's sort of what
Pure.
everyone else thinks is happening, it's always been the opposite. I was poisonous.
Which fits in perfectly with Reputation.
Exactly. I think I'm being very influenced by Reputation overall.
But I do think that Halo hiding my obsession is in the context of being insane for my baby. So I think that she's still like that to some degree. Like the insanity is still there, right?
Right, it is. I think it's more of like to the older guys I was toying with versus my baby.
Yeah.
That's where the change has happened from Poison Ivy to Daisy.
And so then we get into the pre-chorus. And baby, for you, I would fall from grace.
The halo's gone.
Just to touch your face. If you walk away, I beg ya on my knees to stay.
I'm just going to say it. I always thought beg you on my knees to stay also had other implications of things she would be willing to do.
I didn't go there, but thank you for bringing that up.
I definitely thought that as well.
Thank you, Monty.
You beg someone on your knees. It means you're like really begging.
I mean,
pleading.
also just like the play on words from fall from grace.
Yeah.
It's like falling to your knees.
Yeah. There's layers.
Ungraceful way.
Yeah, I love that it goes from we have a dark little paradise, a halo hiding my obsession, but I would fall from grace. Which kind of implies that like this halo's hiding my obsession, but like, hey babe, if you want me to go public with this and lose that halo, I'll do it. Maybe that's the line. Maybe that's the line she's willing to cross. To lose that halo, to lose that persona, that she's happy to lose that if that's what this is needed to be with this other person. To even to just touch their face. It's like not even to like be with you forever. It's like I would do all this to touch your face.
Is it weird that she goes from you to I beg ya?
I have beg you. No, mine says
my
I
lyrics
beg
say
you.
I beg ya to stay on my knees. I was like,
mine says you.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Then we get the chorus again. Does it change? I just think it gets even more intense.
Yeah, it doesn't change. We're continuing the chant. Just don't blame me. Love made me crazy. If it doesn't, you ain't doing it right. Lord, save me. My drug is my baby. I'll be using you for the rest.
But I was saying that like the meaning doesn't change.
No, but I think it's also worth calling out that the lyrics don't change because I, by this point in the song, would expect them to change.
Well, we get into like some new stuff after that. That's almost like again. So we repeated the chorus. We've had it 5 times so far. And we're going to get it more. Yeah. But then we build on it with I get so high.
This is the bridge.
The bridge. If the bridge doesn't change it, I don't know what will.
Right.
Well, yeah, it is the bridge, but it's also like sort of a pre-chorus again a little bit because we get into the chorus again right after this. So it's like the bridge, but it's short.
That always happens. The bridge then goes back into the chorus.
Not always, but
sometimes it's not a bridge.
Well, sometimes it's a bridge to nowhere.
Like False God did not a bridge.
It's not a death by 1,000 cuts bridge. It's a very short bridge with short lines.
It's death by 1,000 cuts bridge.
It doesn't I guess what I'm pointing out is like it doesn't narratively change it. We have the chorus twice and then we have a couple of quick lines and then we're like but also I still believe this chorus. Like we're not
calls it the breakdown.
Is this the first time she gets high?
Yeah. I get so high.
Yeah.
Oh, every time you're loving me.
Trip of my life. Oh, every time you're touching me.
Yeah. So like it is the bridge, but it's really 4 phrases that
really
are
a
repeated.
sad bridge.
It's a very druggy bridge.
She
gets high. She's on a trip. Maybe this tells about the lines that she'd be crossing are actual lines.
Yeah. It does feel like a druggy trance. Yeah.
I've always been convinced that Reputation is, I mean, we don't have to get into the details, but Reputation tells me that it's the first time that she actually enjoyed intimate encounter. No, that she enjoyed her intimate encounters with men because it's the first. Yeah, I mean, good for her. Yeah, truly, that playing with the older guys and using them was like so unsatisfying, and apparently this has been a deeply satisfying. Good. interaction, if you will.
Good.
Yeah, good for her. But it's she enjoyed
Yeah, that
it.
might be what the bridge is.
I mean,
that might be.
I mean, every time you're loving me,
Every
touching
time you're
me,
touching me. Loving, touching, squeezing.
When did Ellie
another.
Goulding's song come out? Love Me Like You Do, touch me like you. This like very much reminds me just of that song. Like no lyrics.
That was
really.
also what's that movie that Taylor also had a song in? 50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades, yeah.
See,
True.
I think of the touch me from
I wanna be dirty. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, the Rocky Horror. Yeah,
there
Rocky
we go.
Horror.
There's our music. There's our musical connection.
Honestly, this song probably would have fit in perfectly with Rocky Horror.
Frankenfurter could totally sing this song.
Yeah, it is Frankenfurter. It has a Frankenstein.
There you
How did we
go.
just now get to this?
This song came out in 2017 and Ellie Goulding's song came out in 2015. So mid 2010s, everybody was just like, love me like you do, touch me like you do.
I also think it was just women getting to the age to be in like, I should enjoy this.
Yeah.
It's the 2010s when women started enjoying.
Well,
No,
millennials.
they are both that age.
Yeah, when millennials hit the mid 2015.
They're like, wait a second, I should get something out of this.
Yeah. I think technically speaking, I think this is a great example of, we talk about how in Tortured Poets Society, Taylor gets very verbose.
Department. We've got to get it right. I'm sorry.
That has plagued Bonzi since the beginning.
In the Tortured Poets Society. No, in the Tortured Poets Department, we have talked about how Taylor gets a lot more verbose with her lyrics, and she's using way more words to describe sometimes like pretty universal, simple feelings. And I think sometimes when we analyze those songs, I have a wistfulness of like, remember the good old days where she could communicate a lot of emotion and feeling with very few words. The lyrics here in this bridge are not very profound, but there's something to be said about the way that the chorus has repeated so far and the chanting. And then when you get to the bridge, there is definitely like a use of like, I get so high. I think there's a drum or something that like beats, it's like pause. And then it's like, every time you're loving me. Like if you read it the way kind of it's sung, it is very few words. This is like her superpower that she was known for, is just like 4 words, ton of emotion, ton of feeling, because those words are being put in with the music at the right time. So when you read the lyrics by themselves, it seems so vapid and simple, but in context of how it is communicated, you're like feeling the high during this part of the song. Like you're kind of like, we were talking about how the chanting takes you to like an out of body, elevated, transcendent kind of experience. And this bridge really kind of takes you to the brink of that, of just like, oh, I like feel where she is in her head, even though the lyrics themselves are so simple.
Well, in the next part, it's repeating some of the bridge and some of the chorus, but it's when we get the truest gospel choir is the oh Lord save me, my drug is my baby. Because she's like, you're touching me, then every time you're loving me.
We miss the fact that the breakdown, like that, those few lines when she says using for the rest of my life, like that is her like life, like when she screams, right? Like at that moment in the music.
Yeah, it's after the oh Lord save me, my drug is my baby. That's a gospel chorus.
Exactly.
After the bridge. And then she says, I'll be using for the rest of my life.
Yeah. The using for the rest of my life, when that repeats.
Which she doesn't do a lot in her music. I just went to the Beyonce concert, and Beyonce, unbelievable, unreal, has more gospel roots. Like, but she does those riffs a lot more. So does like Ariana Grande. Like there are a lot of artists that do that. Taylor does not. Probably because she doesn't have the same vocal range. Although when she does do it, like in here, it's incredible.
It's so
but it's
good.
not a device she uses frequently.
No.
Yeah.
She saved it for the song.
Right.
I mean, I definitely think the song was more of an experimental, putting myself out there, totally different kind of genre sounding.
Yeah. And it is amazing and a fan favorite. So.
And then the chorus again.
She repeats the chorus, and then she ends with I get so high every time you're loving me, and then oh Lord save me, my drug is my baby, I'll be using for the rest of my life.
Wow.
I know. I love this song.
I just looked up, I mean, I think we all could have figured this out, but because I did this in one of our previous songs too, like really looking up the genre, like Taylor equals pop, but she's been experimenting with these different styles within pop, and shocker, no surprise, this one is gospel pop.
Yeah.
But it's also a mix of electropop, EDM, and gospel pop.
Yeah.
And so I think that's interesting because we've talked about our gap of like not really being able to speak the music language, but when we talk about her experimenting with different styles, like here there's definitely something about, it says like gospel pop uses a lot more vocal harmonies, and there's a different way that they're using drums, for example, the bass, and or it's used the term pulsing drums in particular. So I think that's like that's what we're saying. She doesn't do this very often, but definitely in a more of an experimental way here. She's really, I think, playing with the sound in a different way. So even though the lyrics are pretty simple, it has a very deep impact in terms of just like the music itself.
Did we not make the connection in the last episode that both of you chose religious songs?
We both talked about religion when we discussed our songs.
I do think it's interesting that religion is such a heavy theme on the Reputation album.
Yes.
I think that's like worth
It's very interesting.
Thinking about.
Future subscriber only content that we can make.
Correct. So
are we ready for purpose?
Purpose. Hi. Yeah, why not? I don't know that I can articulate mine at the moment, but if one of you wants to start.
I can go.
Great.
I think the core message of the song is don't blame me, love made me crazy, but it's worth it. But I think in the analysis, the thing that's really stuck out to me is sort of this idea, and I mean Reputation was this so much anyways, but sort of this like I'm a woman who's hit a certain point in my life where I'm like, hey, maybe what people think about me isn't as important as enjoying my own life. And I never really got that as much from this song. I just thought it was kind of this like playful, I'm obsessed with this person, which like, you know, whatever, enjoyed that phase, that's great. But all of the halo, fall from grace, crossing the line has made me just think about it a little bit more. And to me, I think there is that definitely that surface lesson, but there's this underlying lesson of your love made me crazy. If it doesn't, you ain't doing it right. Where she's kind of telling us like, hey, sometimes some life experiences are worth crossing some lines or falling from grace. And I didn't see that lesson. It's kind of in quotes. Like I don't know how hardcore of a lesson it was or that message until we went through it. But this idea of I'm going to lose something by being with this person, but I'm so excited about this person. I don't care. And I think that's not, I don't see anxiety in this, which there's so much anxiety in a lot of her songs that kind of have that. But I sense excitement in this of like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this person and I'm so passionate about this. Maybe sensual passion, probably, but there's going to be some consequences. And for once in my life, I'm okay with that. I have found someone in an experience that I'm so excited about that I'm willing to risk losing something, and that there's this underlying excitement of like, I'm just excited to feel this way. Like, it's almost like I've never really actually felt this way before, that no one's ever really been worth risking anything, and I'm gonna risk it. And that's kind of exciting that I'm that into this. And I think it is about a person, but I think to me, I'm just seeing this. For you, I would fall from grace, to me is an incredibly impactful line that I hadn't really noticed before our conversation.
I think my purpose is a little similar. My one thing is that I think the Don't Blame Me is a little bit more ironic than literal. I think she fully accepts the fact that she will be blamed, and I think she maybe to some degree even believes that she should be blamed, because she keeps saying like, I know, like she says I'm crazy, I'm insane multiple times, and she even admits that the halo is just an outward thing that's trying to hide a deeper, darker thing within. And so I think she like fully accepts that whatever she's doing is probably some level of blameworthy. But to the earlier point was, it's defensive. It's like, don't blame me, like I can't help it, and honestly it's worth it, so I don't care. I think it's more of like you can say whatever you want, but I am so far past caring. I think it's really interesting that she puts this in a gospel setting and brings in the church choir elements to it, because to some degree she's comparing the high, drug, all the bad things, the feeling from that, she's comparing it to the same feeling as being like a part of a gospel choir. It's like elevated to the same level. It's like whether you're high off of drugs or you're high off of faith vibes, she's almost like equating the two as being sacred or still being that powerful and transformative. So really interesting parallel that you can cross both of those extremes. The lowest low person who is wasting away in an alley from addiction to like the high and mighty who are really religious and would stay away from that.
Yes, the Chicago Pope. Carry on.
How is that the first time we've listened to this conversation?
He was named the Pope like 2 days after I moved here, and I don't think that's a coincidence.
Never. Nothing is a coincidence. Everything has a purpose.
That dichotomy there, like that full spectrum of like the least holy and the most holy actually converge in this feeling, and that is what she's feeling. And so yeah, I think my purpose is that she's saying don't blame me, but she honestly doesn't even care. It's more of like a blame me if you want or not, it doesn't matter, but I'm living like the highest high of my life.
I love that you said transformational, because we never talked about transformation, but I do think that is also a thread running through all of this. Of before I was toying with older guys and now I'm shaking pace and I just need you, that there's like been a radical transformation that has happened to our protagonist in this song because of this you, the baby.
I don't disagree with what either of you are saying, so instead I will build on it and bring up that this is a more mature Enchanted.
Stop.
Wait, I come with textual proof. In Enchanted, in the bridge, my thoughts will echo your name until I see you again. And in Don't Blame Me, we have echoes of your name inside my head.
Wow.
Those echoes come back, albeit in a very different way. And the reason I got to that was that this is just a much more mature take on falling in love than we had seen from Taylor previously. In, Speak Now, falling in love was about fairy tales. In Red, things were a bit more dramatic. You get treacherous, sad, beautiful, tragic, all too well. Obviously, that's falling out of love. But this song talks much more about her wants, her desires, her needs in that love, whereas previously in previous albums, again, due to her maturity, it's much more about the experience, the macro experience, and not necessarily the physical, internal, what do I need experience. Previously, love was much more cerebral. This is much more physical. And I think that is also why it's this evolution of Enchanted, which is a falling for someone and having them really get inside your head and build this whole life and narrative. It's a different type of insanity, but it's not seen as insanity. It's seen as fantasy. Whereas here, this is still fantasy. This is just much more based on physical desire, which is seen as a more base thing in religious context. Bringing in the drug references makes it a bit more, negative's not the word I want. Perverse? Is that the word I want? Less acceptable is what I want to get at, right? Yeah. This Enchanted fantasy narrative is somehow seen as acceptable. It's acceptable for a woman to lose her mind if it's in this idea in service of a fantasy.
And in this case, maybe a religion.
Right. But if it's in service of drugs, not so much.
But that's why I think she's trying to redeem that by comparing it to a religious experience. Like she's almost trying to turn this nitty-gritty unglamorous thing into a religious sacred experience, and in doing so, like, she's basically doing the same thing.
And I think too, in Enchanted, it's I met a person and I built a fantasy in my head of like what it could be like. And in this song, we get every time you're loving me, every time you're touching me. So this isn't just pure fantasy.
No, but it doesn't mean they know each other that well.
No, but like in Enchanted, it's truly, I had one conversation with you and now I'm imagining this whole thing. And then Don't Blame Me, it's not
Physical.
just I met you and I'm imagining what it would be like to touch you. It's like, hey, every time you touch me, 10 out of 10, I'm a fan.
I don't know. I don't think that it could necessarily, again, if this is a more mature Enchanted, it could still, like in Enchanted, 2 a.m., who do you love? Oh, that's keeping me up. Whatever. Regardless, y'all got married a long time ago. It could still be one night they met. They just took it a little further this time.
Potentially, but my only argument against that texturally is that it's every time you're loving me and every time you're touching me. So it wouldn't be like I got so high when you touched me. I came up with it
4 minutes ago. I didn't say it was a perfect thesis.
No, I love it. I still think there's a fantasy here of like, what could this turn into? Which is, I still think is the more mature thing of Enchanted was, I had one moment and I imagined this whole thing. I'm hoping
this whole life.
This is like, we had a moment and now we are interacting with one another and I'm obsessed with this and I'm hoping that this is going to lead to more. It's still fantasy, but in the more mature way. And I don't necessarily mean like emotion mature, just more adult way of, you're touching me, we're doing all this stuff and I'm obsessed with it and it could still lead to more and I'm really obsessed with that idea. Like it's like it's different phases of that early relationship and the continued fantasy. But to your point, Enchanted feels more innocent because they haven't done anything. So she can fantasize. And I think
there's nothing physical.
And that's why this feels more base, more drugs, is because they are doing physical things. And so to me, that's the fall from grace. That's losing the halo. Like Taylor Swift is having sex and people are going to freak out about it. Like that to me is like kind of this idea of saying like, yeah, she has desires. Women have desires. Oh, that's okay. You know, like it's sort of this like shocking thing that shouldn't be shocking, I think.
Yeah.
But I also think the fantasy here is like the extraordinary thing here is that religious experience. It's like she's comparing it, she's elevating this like low and dirty whatever into this like extreme spiritual awakening.
Yeah, it's sort of saying like, I'm gonna say I'm touching this person, I'm obsessed with this person, they're my drug, and it's a religious experience, and you just if you're blaming me for this, you just don't get it.
Get a new religion.
Yeah. It's like the Christian, I don't know if this is true for other religions, but there's sort of the Christian trump card of like, well, I feel like God's really called me to this. No one can argue with it. And I feel like she's kind of playing that card here in a little bit.
You're like, great. What a way to end the conversation.
Yeah. And then you just use it back and it's great. It works for him.
Works for everything. Well, that's all we have. If you don't blame us if that's all we have. Join us next time right here on AP Taylor Swift as we deep dive and overanalyze more of Taylor Swift's songs. That's all we have for you today on AP Taylor Swift. Be sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast app. Follow us on your social channel of choice at AP Taylor Swift to stay up to date. And join us next time as we overanalyze and deep dive into the next Taylor Swift song on AP Taylor Swift.